Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another helpful beading video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll always know when we're posting new content. So today what I'm going to show you is how to do 2-drop peyote with a colored border and utilizing some of our new Delica mixes, which are super fun and a really great way to get some fun color in there without having to really overthink what colors to put together. So this is a little swatch that I did with our color Gilded Wine, and I used a black border. And what's great about 2-drop peyote is that you can make a piece that's wider, or you can have more peyote surface, and it's not going to take you nearly as long. It works up probably about twice as fast, I'd say. So it's a really great way to get through your project a little faster while still getting that nice Delica woven look. So this, if you want to see it close up, this is Gilded Wine, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. We have some beautiful lusters, irises, mattes, metallics, some really beautiful colors in there. And then of course I just paired it with a matte black Delica to sort of offset that and create a border. So the one I'm going to use today is this super fun mix right here. Isn't that great? And I'm going to use a silver border, and I'll also show you how to put on a clasp as well at the end. So to start off your 2-drop peyote, the thing you need to remember is oftentimes when you're doing peyote, you are doing even count peyote. And with this particular type of peyote, with 2-drop peyote, it's extra important to make sure you pay attention to not so much the number of beads, but the number of 2-bead units. So, for example, you might pick up 6 Delicas and think, wow, great, I'm off to a good start. I have my even number, I'm good to go. But in actuality, what we have here is an odd number of 2-bead units. So that's what we don't want. So that's the part that you have to pay attention to, is the number of units. So that's what we don't want. So for this particular project, we are going to be doing it 6 units wide. So the outer unit on either side is going to be our border color, and then we're going to use the super fun Delica mix inside. So I'm going to start by picking up 2 units. By picking up 1 unit of 2 beads, and then I'm going to pick up 4 units, which is going to be 8 beads. And then 1 more unit with the silver, which is another 2 beads. So again, we have an even number of units here, and that's what's important. So actually a total of 12 beads. So I'm going to bring them to the end of my thread and just work with an amount of thread that's comfortable for you. If you're doing an entire bracelet and you're making it sort of wide, you will have to add on thread at some point. So don't go crazy with the amount of thread you're using. And I'm just going to take my tail here, and I'm going to loop back through that first bead just to create a temporary stop bead. This is just so for the time being it doesn't fall off. It could move if you pushed it far enough, or hard enough, but it won't fall off right now. So I'm going to start with the actual peyote, and it's very much going to be like regular even count peyote at this point. You just want to look at units, not the beads. So I'm going to pick up a unit of silver, which in this case is 2 silver beads, and I'm going to go back through my last unit. The second to the last unit, which is the 2 beads before the 2 silver, just like that. Pull this all the way through. Then of course the 2 beads I just picked up sits on top of the 2 beads that I had lastly picked up on my loading sequence. So again, if you look at those units and imagine that it's regular even count peyote, that's 1 bead sitting on top of another bead, or 1 unit sitting on top of another unit, and in this case the unit is 2 beads. So I'm going to do the same thing again, and now that I'm heading towards the center of my bracelet, I'm going to pick up beads from my seed bead mix, or my Delica mix here. Pick up 2 beads, skip over 2 beads, and go through the next 2 beads. It's always tricky to pull my thread and hold it in a way that the viewers can see. So I'm going to pick up another 2 beads, and I'm just picking them up randomly. That's sort of the beauty of using a mix, is you don't have to think about it. So I'm picking up 2 beads, I'm skipping over 2 beads, and I'm gonna go into the last 2 beads, which are the 2 silver beads there, that last unit, and my border color. Now I like to constantly flip my peyote stitch, so that way I'm always working in the direction heading away from me, but whatever is most comfortable for you. So in this case, it's now a little easier because just like regular peyote, the places that we have to go with our needle are popping up for us. So it makes it a lot easier to know where to put your needle. And that's especially helpful here because we're using sort of, a mixture of beads. So it sometimes can make the eye have to focus a little bit harder to pick out what bead you have to go through. But in this case, they're popped up for you. So because the next 2 beads I pick up are going to sit right above that border color there, that means I'm going to pick up the border color, which is silver. So I'm going to pick up 2 of the silver, go through the next 2 popped up beads or the next popped up unit, just like that. Now pick up 2 beads from my Delica mix. Two more beads from my Delica mix. And go through the last unit, which is the popped up border color unit at the end. And you can see how our peyote is starting. And again, because we're picking up 2 beads at a time and going through 2 beads at a time, we're able to cover ground faster than if this was single drop, even count peyote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit further in this little swatch here so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I've worked up some of the peyote, and if you can imagine, it would actually be such a fun summer bracelet with that bright silver border and all those fun colors in the center. And I actually realized I forgot to tell you the name of this mix. This is our jewel green mix, and I absolutely love this one for summer. It sort of reminds me of a beach ball. So I'm going to show you how you would add a clasp to this once you were at your finished length. So at this point, I just added in my last little group there, my last little unit of 2 beads, and I'm just going to travel to the center top of my bracelet. So that means I'm going to go into the unit below the one I'm coming out of, heading into the center of the bracelet, and then we're going to go diagonally up into the next unit. There we go. And then diagonally up into the unit after that, just so you can see it there. So that way when I pull through, I'm now coming out of the center of the bracelet. Now, as far as clasps go, you have tons of options. I am loving the new Tierra cast toggles that we're carrying now. They're a really beautiful quality. So I'm going to use a toggle. I'm a big fan of toggles in general. I think they're such a great clasp because they're so much easier to put on yourself. And I'm also going to accent it with a beautiful little druck here. But you certainly don't have to. That can be optional, but I really like them. So I'm going to start by putting on my druck, just like that, and it's in a beautiful color that really complements the bracelet. And now for the seed beads to go and attach the toggle, I'm going to use the silver color. I like that it will sort of blend in with the rest of them. So I picked up 4 here. We'll see if they float through, and they don't float through. So I picked up 4. I'm going to pick up another 4. Just like this. Okay, and now I'm going to travel back down through the druck and back into the beadwork. And I just traveled back through just a little 2 bead unit on the other side of where I was coming out. And you get a nice little beaded loop that attaches your clasp. So then all it really needs now, because after all of the work you put into the bracelet, you certainly want to take the time to reinforce this area, is I will end up just traveling through the peyote and back up through this loop here, probably good 2 to 3 more times. That way it's nice and strong. And then all I need to do is just weave out my thread, tying some overhand knots along the way, and you're done. So I'm going to show you how I would get back to that place there. So I'm going to just travel down into the 2-bead unit below where I'm coming out of. And it's sort of a anywhere it takes you, anywhere you have to go through to get back to that spot. There's plenty of options. Okay, I'm going to go through those beads, below the ones I'm coming out of now. Oops, I'm going to get caught on the thread, of course. Okay, and then I'm going to go up the 2 beads above. And then up the bead above that. And I'll be back at that little center area, and I can just head right on up into my druck again, and then through that beaded loop. And again, there are plenty of ways to weave through your beadwork to get to the same spot. So just go wherever your needle takes you. As long as it's heading in that direction, you'll find your way there. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that loop. And it might get a little bit tight, but that's okay. The holes in the Delicas are certainly meant for multiple passes, and the hole on the druck is certainly big enough to go back through a few times. So that's what we have there. A nice clean ending to your bracelet with a nice toggle clasp that's good quality and that you'll more easily be able to put on yourself. And then, so what I would do really, again, is just weave back down, reinforce this a few more times, and then just weave out my thread. So I hope that you liked this project here. Actually, the last thing I wanted to show is I wanted to give you a preview of some of the other mixes we have. I was almost ready to wrap up the video, and I was almost going to forget. So I had shown you Gilded Wine, which again I think is gorgeous, and I did that one with a little black border, which I thought was really striking. And then of course we have the one I'm working with today, which is Jewel Green. And then a couple other ones that I really like. This one is called Ocean Floor, and it has, I know we can't quite capture as easily on the video, but it's beautiful, deep, dark blues and blue grays with iridescence in there. It's really, really a stunning mixture. And it sort of really is reminiscent of its name. It's sort of the colors you would picture on the ocean floor. Then we have this fun one. This is called Sherbet. And that's a ton of fun with a lot of very sherbety colors. Definitely makes me think of summer. And another one that I like is Tuscan Summer, which has a lot of beautiful creams and beiges with some subtle purple iridescence in there as well. So we did launch these just yesterday, actually. There are 20 of them to start, so 20 beautiful Delica mixes in 10-gram packages, all really reasonably priced, and currently on sale, actually. The whole website's on sale, so definitely check that out, see if you can get them even cheaper. So, to now officially wrap up the video, make sure to head on over to EurekaCrystalBeads.com for all of the materials used in this video, and as well as to check out if we have anything else for your beading and jewelry needs. Bye everyone.